I'm here in the building today because I want to make the case to you, and I'll tell you straight up front what it is, that too many people have been won to a place and not a person. Now, what do I mean by that? There's been a big to-do since this social distancing began about canceling church services. Throughout our country, some preachers have even defied the orders of local and state leaders and continued to meet as the full church body in certain locations. This past Sunday, a Tampa Bay, Florida church with thousands of members met despite the state's ban of groups of 10 or more people. The same thing happened in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Despite the governor's shelter-in-place order, a church met. And these are two states that have been hit deeply by the virus. On the other hand, the governor of Michigan signed an executive order exempting churches from a statewide ban of gatherings of 50 or more people, which is their level of social distancing. This move has been duplicated so far in 2 other states besides Michigan. The question from the beginning that church leaders have asked is, can the government instruct people not to gather for worship? According to the American Center for Law and Justice, which is a stalwart representative of religious rights in our country, the answer is yes, they can. As long as the restrictions are applied neutrally, meaning across the board, without specifically limiting churches in isolation to other businesses or organizations, the prohibition to meet is legal. So why press the issue? Well, I'm sure some church leaders truly mean well. They want to continue to nurture folks in the faith. They understand that fellowship is a major part of what the church is about. And there are those that say simply, if you're trying to determine which business or organization is essential to functioning, especially of a polite society, well, then the church is of foremost importance. However, it hit me hard a day or so ago when I saw a drive-up service, like a drive-in movie where people stayed in their cars while the pastor preached. It didn't sit well. Maybe I interpreted it wrong. But when I had a conversation with a friend about it just yesterday, we discussed this whole effort to make sure that people somehow, some way, get to the building. He asked the question, does it mean that more people have been won to a place rather than the person of Jesus? I answered with a hearty yes. It sure seemed like it. A relationship with Jesus can continue no matter what our circumstances, quarantined here, distanced there. But if we continue to burn all of our community goodwill or social capital on making sure we get people to a certain place, then I think we're wrong. Now, even if you don't agree with the strength of the reply to my friend, I think it is at least worth asking that question. Tell me, if it's not that, then why the urgency to get people back within these walls despite a spreading disease and mandates to refrain? I guess it could be a lack of offering, but that would be even a worse situation now, wouldn't it? Acts chapter 17, verses 24 through 28, make a case for this argument. The Apostle Paul said, "The God who made the world and everything in it, being Lord of heaven and earth, does not live in temples made by man, nor is he served by human hands as though he needed anything, since he himself gives to all mankind life and breath and everything. And he made from one man every nation of mankind to live on the face of the earth, having determined allotted periods and boundaries and their dwelling place, that they should seek God and perhaps feel their way toward Him and find Him. Yet He is actually not far from each of us, for in Him we live and move and have our being. A similar situation happened in Acts chapter 7, where Stephen said, God does not live in buildings built by human hands. It's about a person and our relationship with Him, not a particular place. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm grateful for a place to meet, but He doesn't live here. And it is not essential to our faith to be here. Now, should we just all find a nice sunny spot along the edge of a river to pass our Sunday mornings from here on out? And does that mean that those who say the mountains are their church are right? Well, not exactly. The word church references gatherings. The church is still a body of believers that depends on each part of the body to function. And we can't serve one another, love one another, encourage one another, bear burdens for one another, pray for one another, or teach one another if I'm only one and there is no other. But the best thing now is to consider one another and do what is best to make sure we can gather with one another again, eventually, without risk. Philippians 2:3-4 says, do nothing from selfish ambition or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also to the interests of others. And that's what this case is about that I'm making. So let's conclude with the question. Have you been one to a place that depends on where we meet, or to a person whose name is Jesus?